5 sounds that make an inmate in prison's heart skip a beat. Most of these are just everyday sounds that if we on the outside heard them, wouldn't even blink at. But I'm going to tell you what those sounds are, and I'm going to explain why they cause so much dread when inmates in prison and jail hear them. Before we start, real quick, if you want to, just to make it fun, pause this video, give me your top 1, 2, 4, even all 5 guesses of what you think these sounds are, and we'll see how many you get right by the end of the video. Number 1, the sound of thunder. Probably not what you expected to hear, right? During my 10 years in South Carolina State Prison, when an inmate hears the sound of thunder, automatically they know lightning is coming right behind it, which is the real worry. For some reason, every time there's a thunderstorm, lightning storm, like clockwork, it always hits that prison building within that first hour or two at some point during the thunderstorm, and it knocks the power out. And this is awful because, number one, especially during the summer, when it knocks that power out, it is going to knock the air out. And, I'm no electrician, I'm no expert, I don't know how that works, but for some reason, usually it's going to be the next day before the power altogether gets turned back on. But even after that, it seemed like after the power got turned back on, that air, the AC, it always took days and days after that before it got fixed to where it was working again. It is going to get hot in there. It is awful. Even the walls, within the first hour or two, the walls, they say they start to sweat, and you can just put your hand on that white cement brick wall and you can feel the dampness on it. And if you're anything like me, man, I cannot sleep when I'm too hot. You will be in nothing but your boxers, no socks, no shirt, no anything, no sheets, no blanket on top of you, just laying on top of your mat in as little clothing as possible, and you still are too hot to sleep comfortably. It's just awful. And then all through the day, when you got your clothes on and you're trying to move around, and even if you're going to do your workout, maybe you got this workout you do every day or every other day, man, it really just makes it that much worse. And you even get in the shower, you try to take a cold shower, within half an hour of being out, you feel dirty again, you're sweating again. It sucks. And in addition to that, your TVs, a lot of the TVs that are out there in the common area, and even the personal TVs that you can buy on the commissary, they're not going to work, of course. You're going to miss the football game. You're going to miss the sports, the news. There's not much to look forward to for inmates back there in prison, but they definitely look forward to their football and their sports and stuff, and you're not going to get any of that. You're not going to be able to use your hot pot, for the hot water to put in your instant coffee to get your coffee in the morning. Just the little things like that. The hot water to cook your ramen noodle soups. Just all those little things that come with the power being out. Most detrimental in an inmate's mind, no matter how you feel about an inmate having access to a contraband phone. This video is about why inmates hate these noises, and they're going to hate it because when that power goes out, they're not going to be able to charge their phone. And these are cheap phones usually with cheap chargers. Their battery's going to die fast. It's not going to last long. And again, the chargers are cheap, so it's not uncommon for everyone's charger to break pretty soon, and you'll have 3, 4, 5 guys sharing one phone charger for their phones. And when that thunder hits and that lightning's about to strike and the power could go out at any minute, inmates are going to be running and scrambling around to find a charger to get their phone onto, just to get that extra juice to maybe last them through the night. It's very important to them, for number one, just to pass the time that night, and number two, it is pitch black in that cell when the lights go out. There is no light in there. You can't even see your hand in front of your face. So maybe even just as a light source and such. So that is why inmates hate to hear the sound. Number 2, the sound of gang war calls. This one is pretty short and sweet, at least in my state prison, and I'm sure in many other prisons. The most prominent 3 gangs were the Bloods, Crips, and the G's. And what they do is, if there's ever an emergency situation, like a gang war, a riot, something very serious, we are under attack or we are attacking, there is a very serious battle going on, knives, weapons, poles. When that happens, to alert all the other gang members who need to be involved and need to come join in on this and help. There are very specific noises that each gang makes with their mouth. It's not like, when I say a gang war call, it's not, hey, hey, mayday, mayday, it's happening, it's happening. It's like a very unique noise. I'm not going to do them, but each gang has their very own unique noise that you make with your mouth. And when that gang hears it, they know. The only time that this noise gets made is when there is something extremely serious and usually very dangerous and deadly happening. And it's awful to hear, because if you're in that gang, you are obligated to go be on scene and help and participate in this dangerous thing, this deadly thing that's happening. So when you hear that, you automatically, there is no mistaking what it's for and what it means. So though they're going to show up likely and take part in it because they have to, still, you don't want to. And so you do hate to hear it, and it is pretty frightening to hear it because you know what you're about to enter into. Number 3, jingling keys. I would bet that if you guessed any of them correctly, if you participated in the little game at the start of this video, if you guessed any of them right, it's probably this one. Inmates, even myself personally, I hated hearing keys jingle. Okay, it's like a psychological cue, a trigger. You become accustomed to it. Anytime you hear those keys jingle or fiddling with these keys, of course, it's an officer, it's a staff member. You can't help but just almost subconsciously, you're going to stand up off your bunk and look out of the window of your cell. If you're out there, you're going to turn around. You got to peek out of the bathroom. Everyone is going to look real quick, or if nothing else, ask someone who's closer to a window or a door. Hey, who is that? Who is that? Who is that? Who's that coming in? Everyone gets concerned. We need to know who this is. Is it just one officer? Is he looking relaxed? He's not up to anything, just making his laps and his walk around the dorm. Standard procedure. Is it 5 of them? Because if it is, that's probably some trouble for the inmates. They're coming to shake down somebody's cell, or they're coming to get someone and maybe handcuff them and escort them to solitary confinement for who knows what. It could be a number of things. If you hear those keys jingle and you're asleep in your bunk, they're unlocking your cell door. You got to hop up. I overslept. Because usually, as an inmate, you're supposed to be up and ready before they even come around, because you don't want the possibility of you still being asleep in your bunk when your cell door gets unlocked and maybe an enemy or someone who's been plotting on you running in your cell and catching you while you're in the bed. So you hear those keys, you've slept too late, you're scrambling, you're getting your shoes on, you're getting your stuff on. Anytime you hear keys, it stresses you out and gives you anxiety, and inmates hate to hear it, period. Number 4, the squeaking of tennis shoes. 9 times out of 10, when you hear the squeaking of tennis shoes, it means someone's fighting or, getting attacked or stabbing, or, something physical and violent is happening. Okay. And of course, there are your exceptions. You have people running laps, for exercise, or doing some burpees, some squat thrusts for exercise. And, usually I know that the inmates in their mind kind of make it an extra point to not have those shoe squeaks, just because everyone in there, after you spend a certain amount of time in there, you understand. Everyone hates to hear these shoe squeaks. You understand the psychological effects it has on someone, no matter what you're doing or who you are, just to hear these shoe squeaks. So they do try to be extra careful, I would say, to not make these shoe squeaks. But if you're exercising, which is in a dorm, there's really no other reason for these aggressive movements that would cause a shoe squeak. So it's, if it's not something physically violent happening, it's going to be because you're exercising. Okay, so yeah, it does happen, and just like with the key jingles, it's like a subconscious trigger of an action. You're going to look, you're going to check outside your cell door, to peep outside of the bathroom. You're going to make sure that this isn't someone I'm associated with or involved with. Maybe I'm in a gang with them and I need to know. I might need to go assist them and help. I'm obligated to. That's the rules of my gang. Or, maybe it's my buddy, it's my cellmate, we would be here all day if I went over all the little ways that 2 completely separate people from you fighting could ultimately lead back to, in some way, affecting you. I mean, maybe one of the guys fighting, he owes you $150, and you're really counting on that money because you owe somebody $100 of that $150. And like if he gets caught fighting or he gets beat up and taken out of here, there goes your money, and now you don't have your money. Now you're going to be in trouble. I mean, that's just one small example of all the ways that shoe squeaks, which equal violent encounters, matter to every inmate in there. So nobody really likes to hear it happen because it's just a stressful and anxiety causing sound. And last but not least, number 5, the absence of sound. Absolute silence. That eerie quietness that comes over a cell block that always means something bad. Right now, I would also encourage anyone who's done some time or knows someone who's done time and really understands this, and maybe I'm not describing it well enough for people who haven't done any time in prison, really back me up on that. I mean, out of all these, I know every single person who has had an experience in jail or prison knows there's like a certain amount of this background noise and chatter that is always present in a dorm, and when that falls silent and it goes away, it's louder than any other sound that I've covered in this video, because it means something serious just happened, and everyone picks up on it. The way I would describe this is, there's levels to how the other general population of inmates conducts themselves and acts when some type of fight or something violent or something dangerous is happening, even if especially when it doesn't involve them. If it's just a simple fight, that happens all the time. There's probably several a day. 2 guys settle in a dispute with a fight. So what? It's prison. And just things like that. And usually the protocol is, hey, just mind your business. Everybody don't just freeze, jaw dropped, eyes wide, and turn your head in the direction of what's happening, because if anything, that's going to bring attention to it, and the officer might notice, okay, why is everyone standing just rigid, staring up at cell 203? Maybe I should go check it out, and those guys are going to get caught. So it's kind of just an understanding, hey, if it doesn't involve you, it's none of your business. Maybe you check, oh, they're fighting. Oh, who is that? Oh, okay. Well, let me go back to playing chess. Let me go back to playing poker. Let me go back to doing whatever I was doing, showering, watching TV, whatever. And then there's this noise, or this lack of noise, this deafening silence that can sometimes overtake a dorm. And when it happens, everyone catches on, and it worries you. You start to look, hang on. I mean, I have been in cells within a cell block talking to 2 or 3 other guys about whatever, and all of a sudden someone's just stopped me about, whoa, wait. Man, it's quiet out there, man. Why is it so quiet out there? And like, we're all gonna check, it stops you in your tracks, because that means something much further beyond just a regular altercation or violent fight is happening. Someone's getting hurt badly. Something serious has happened, or is about to happen, and people have figured that out, and it's caused people to not even be able. It's so, it demands your focus and alertness. Everyone's in the dorms so much that you're not able to go forward with this protocol of, oh, mind your business, don't bring any attention, keep doing what you're doing. Like, people don't even want to have their back turned and their attention drawn away from what's happening, because, man, this is some serious stuff. When people are going to get quiet, they may move out of the way, they may get back in their cells, but it's a different kind of situation, and it's very serious and it's very extreme. That's the best way I could describe it. And if I'm not doing it justice, guys, again, if you've been there and you know exactly the silence I'm talking about, help me elaborate in the comments and kind of back me up on that, okay? But that's what I have for the final sound, or lack of sound, in number 5. So that's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope it taught you something and entertained you, if nothing else. And other than that, please subscribe if you're not already, because I will be back soon with another video.